6 p.m. and I'll call this regular meeting of the Barre City Council to order. First item on the agenda is adjustments to and approval of the agenda. Have you got any adjustments?
No adjustments, Mr. Mayor. Just to note that it was warned to have contracts for approval, that the paving bid would come in after the packet went out, and it did hit your inboxes today.
Yep,
we were just checking the references, and we were good to go with the apparent low bidder. So
Okay, it's good. Looks really Council, good. Any changes to the agenda or adjustments? Okay, hearing none, a motion to approve the agenda would be in order.
So moved.
Thank you. It's moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. Council will move on to item 2A on the agenda. I'm presenting to you Resolution 2026-05 in recognition of Spalding High School State Wrestling Championship. Would you read the resolution into the record?
Absolutely. A resolution in recognition of the Spalding High School wrestling team, whereas in February 2026, the Spalding High School wrestling team won the Vermont High School Wrestling State Championship. And whereas to become champions, Spalding dethroned 36-time champion Mount Anthony, ending a national record, making reign and crown the first new Vermont state champion since 1988. And whereas Spalding's victory was decisive, having scored 236.5 points to Mount Anthony's 195. And whereas this is Spalding's first wrestling championship since 1984, whereas Spalding's wrestler won individual state championships in their weight class. Wesley Churchill, 160-pound state champion, Noah Dunster, 165-pound state champion, and Maxwell LaPearl, 190-pound state champion. And whereas the Spalding High School embodied the word team with 12 wrestlers placing at the state championship tournament, the only team with double-digit wrestlers reaching that milestone. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Barre City Council that the members of the council commend the Spalding High School wrestling team upon its 2026 state championship and congratulates wrestlers Wesley Churchill, Lucas Colby, Caden Mason, Grady Thurston, Gavin Cook, Gavin Winnie, Michael Grasso, Michael Marcellus, Logan Slater, Noah Dunster, Caleb Orr, Maxwell LaPearl, Charlie Berry, Alex Posabat. Additional team members, Aiden Lemieux, Aiden Trombley, Andrew Breer, Andrew Halleck, Levi Lamore, Lucas Willis, Nova Eberly, Wyatt Fuller, head coach Darren O'Meara, assistant coaches Mick Karen, Matt Thurston, Taylor Lozier, Trevor Bell, Nick Pierce, and Hunter Cuero, and volunteer assistants Carter Dickinson and Philip Maurice. Be it further resolved that the City Council extends to each of the members of the team our sincerest wishes for their continuing success academically and athletically. And be it further resolved that a copy of this resolution be placed in the permanent records of the City of Barre, and that a copy be transmitted to the members of the team, the coach and staff, and to Spalding High School by the order of the City Council this 7th day of April 2026.
Motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
It's moved and seconded. Any discussion? Better not be. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, motion carries. Congratulations, gentlemen. Okay, if there's more. Coach, why don't you come up for a minute?
Coach? Coach?
Anyone will do. Have a seat. Yeah, fantastic. Thank you.
Testimony?
Yeah. You got a great-looking group of guys here. Some of you look like you're 30.
Some look younger than me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about this team? I mean, you coached them, how they developed,
Yeah.
we've been chasing Mount Anthony. Heck, Mr. Karen back there has been chasing Mount Anthony for decades.
Yeah. Well, it's a special group, and obviously, they did something that hasn't been done in a long time. A lot of it comes down to leadership in the athletes, leadership in the coaching staff. The coaches have been building this for a while. So, everybody's become aware in the last few months, that the program's in pretty good shape. But really, we had to knock on that door several times in the last 6 years for that to happen. So, I credit the coaches a lot and the athletes buying in and really buying into development, technical development, not just being content with, their athletic ability, but, being students of the sport, continuing to grow their skill set, coaches as well. I credit a parent group that has done a lot to fundraise and support our, ambitious schedules. And, the community's gotten behind us. These guys get a fair amount of praise in the paper. They get supported at their, local events. We get a fair amount of fans that come down to the matches. And yeah, just, it takes a community to pull that off. It isn't something that one coach or even, a handful of athletic individuals coming through the program at once can do that. It takes years of support from 100 people probably to make that happen. Supportive athletic director, supportive administration at the school, supportive middle school PE teachers that have let us go in there and introduce the sport to the kids. And so it takes a lot of people.
Fantastic. And you've got some, you talked about development. You've got some wrestlers who are recognized academically, correct?
We have two this year, Gavin Winnie and Alex Posaba, both recognized as academic.
Are you both here?
See Alex.
Well done. You a senior?
Yes, I am.
You're a senior? Then come on up, because I know you've got 4 graduating seniors this year.
Yes.
So that means okay, so the rest are juniors, sophomores, so should we make the appointment for next year now, or? Alex, tell us a little bit, and the other seniors, I want you to come up too, and just tell us a little bit about yourself, and so where are you headed in 4 months?
MMA.
What then? Well, you can just grab a chair, just pull that other chair right up.
No, Max, you're the team captain here. You'll.
What was the question?
Just, what are your plans?
Work. I got a job over at DMS, so I think I'm going to continue there after high school.
Menace to you.
Absolutely.
I know Barron very well.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. He's a great guy.
Great family, really a great family business, great people, and he values, there's nothing Byron likes better than seeing a young man like yourself come into his shop, work a year, and make 6 figures.
Yes,
and
exactly.
Yes, and they're doing it, so good for you.
Yes, thank you.
So next year, I'm going to be going down to Merrimack College in North Andover, Mass. I'm going to be majoring in nursing.
Nice.
So plan to do that for the next 4 years and then take it from there. So
Fantastic. Well, I was going to say, can I twist your arm and make you come back to Vermont when you're done, because we need good medical professionals, but I'm not going to touch your arm, dude.
well, I was going to say my grandmother's probably, my grandmother might make me come back here. I don't know, but
Fantastic. And
I'm graduating from CVCC, so I'll either be following the plumbing trade or electrical. I'm not
Nice.
quite sure yet.
which one do you think?
I haven't really decided. I think I'm leaning towards plumbing.
Yeah? Do you know Jeff Gould?
I know of them.
You know of him? So my number is 793. I'm not kidding. My number is 793-1033.
Write that down.
Yeah. And seriously, give me a call anytime and I'll make sure I'll introduce you to Jeff. I'd love to do that for you. 793-1033. Got it? Okay.
I have a question.
Yeah, of course.
So do you think MMA, the rise of MMA has brought you more involved in wrestling, or were you involved before that is? Because, I mean, at MMA, you need probably 60 to 70% wrestling skills. And that's really made wrestling become quite as you can see down there, they have their own network of doing that. Has that been an influence on you at all or not?
I want to, but Mom says no.
Yeah, same. No, but I think the first time I figured out about wrestling was I saw it on TV. It was NCAA's.
Okay.
It was during the winter, so I think that's the first time I got exposed to it, and I just kind of like picked it up from there.
Fantastic.
Good.
Well, I wish you all every success here. You know, this is really something for the whole city. When we win a state championship, and to the moms and dads who are supporting them, I know how much work goes into the team dinners, following them around, making sure they're getting to bed early, making sure they're observing good habits. Some of the best times of Karen and my life was when Alex's Spalding High School football team won back-to-back state championships. I mean, and, you know, to this day, Alex is 32 now, and he's still very close with a lot of his teammates. So these are going to be some of the best years and best experiences of your lives. Good luck to you.
Yes,
Thank you again. Dr. Bergeron, you had one job.
Well, sure. You threw me under the bus.
No, you go.
All right.
Hand them out.
I'll hand them out.
Don't blame the
Do me a favor, he's going to stand right in front there. Do me a favor, guys, the camera will pick you up. Just come up, grab one from Councilor Bergeron, and when you do, just bark out your name if you don't mind.
Oh, they're so shy.
Gonna line them up here for a picture?
Name.
Yep.
And come line up here for a picture, team picture.
When you finish up.
Just up
Just
here in
right
front.
up here in
Yeah.
front
Stand
of
right in
the
front of us.
podium.
Harley. Mikey. Colin. Wesley. Colby. Lucas.
You guys can back up a little bit, don't worry about it.
We don't bite. Yeah, no, you got a ways to go. You can scooch back. We don't need to be in the picture. Definitely not. There's a big smile. Are we supposed to be in the picture?
I don't think they can see us.
Okay. Amanda. Beth. So are you going to be in the picture? I was texting my brother. You were in.
That's fine, I just.
Squeeze in like you like each other. Okay, you gotta squeeze in. Coaches, why don't you come in the front?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, yeah. This is your photographer. Are you our photographer now? I volunteered. All right, thanks, Jess. Yeah, thanks, guys.
All right.
There you go.
Thanks for coming in tonight, guys. Mr. Hoare, if you lost that number, let me know.
Lose his number, let me know. Thank you all.
We won it every year.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Mick.
Bailey's.
Keep up the good work,
Aaron's.
Absolutely.
Kick butt.
Hey, Coach, did he have enough, they had enough resolutions?
Oh, yeah, I think Jeff handed that
extras?
stack.
He's got a whole stack back.
If you need extras, let me know. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Council, we're going to pause for just a moment before I move on to visitors and communications, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Wow, the room seems cooler already.
I think Nicholas turned on the AC.
Oh,
Yeah. It was warm in here.
It was cold when we got here. That was a correction.
Nicholas, what does that little thing up there, set up professional audio, mean?
Set up professional
Oh.
audio and audio settings.
That, I don't know if it's an extra setting, but we're coming through.
We're okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
we're
good.
coming through.
Okay, council, we'll move on to item 3 on the agenda. This is visitors and communications. Anyone wishing to address the council regarding an item that is not on the agenda? Yes, Vern Rose.
Well, wasn't that fun? I haven't seen so many young boys in one place. Also happy, it was great. I'm here for my annual Tick and Lyme Talk. About 6 or 7 years ago, I think is when it was, when Lucas Herring was mayor. We got to know each other, and he asked me to come in and speak to city council about ticks and Lyme disease. So you all know about it now, because I try to come back every year. I have some new booklets. They're the same. They also have an edit in them, Keep the Tick. And some posters to spread around to the different buildings and workplaces. And some handouts of tick cards. And why do I come back? I come back because it's such a debilitating disease, and Lyme disease is. But it's not the only thing that ticks are carrying now. So we all need to be more careful when we go out. Climate change has really pushed ticks up here. Some people are really getting aware of the illness that's caused by Rocky Mountain ticks. There's not very many of them here, and it's not here too much, but it can be deadly, and it makes you allergic to red meat. Now, if you're a steak and potato kind of person, that's going to be a problem. The book says, throw your tick away, crush it, get rid of it, do whatever. But I'm encouraging everybody, if you have a tick, even if it's just a loose tick on your clothes, you can freeze it, you can keep them, and at some point, if you ever want, you can send them away for testing. Lyme disease is supposed to have a tick on you for 12 to 24 hours, but all of the other long lists of illnesses can make you sick having a tick on embedded for 5 minutes. And having a tick on you, I mean embedded, not just on your clothes. So here you are. If you have any questions, you know how to get in touch with me.
Thank you,
Nicholas, should I leave this?
Yeah, if you want to
of
leave
course.
them right
On the
there on
table?
that table, I'll grab them on the way out.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And I really appreciate it when I see City Hall, you have posters and things. And I know that you're working more with making sure all of our workers, and that was what brought me here first, was the emergency workers and all of our DPW people that are going out and into the ditches and brush and places like that. So thank you for making them aware. And Tess and I are trying to figure out how to get a little grant so we can get people tick removers. If you don't have a tick remover and you have a tick, you can actually tie a little string of dental floss around it or some thread and just pull and then gently tug it out. And you can also make little notches in your credit card or another card that you have and use that as a tick lifter if you don't have anything else handy. That's new this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If I may just
Yes.
briefly add to that. Thank you for this, Brian, and thank you for also calling attention to tick-borne illnesses that are not just Lyme disease. I think people think of Lyme disease as the most common one, but Councilor Deering had recognized Music Month at the last. I just recently found out that my old cello teacher and orchestra conductor is very, very ill with a tick-borne illness I had never heard of.
Anaplasmosis, Ehrlichia, babesiosis.
I've heard of all of those. It was something I've truly never heard of. It's been profoundly debilitating. And it's been very sad, but it's really useful to call people's attention to tick-borne illnesses that are not just Lyme, and that you should be thinking about, so.
They're out there more. And there's a lot we can do to prevent it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the council regarding an item that is not on the agenda?
Mr. Mayor, may I approach?
Yeah, of course you can.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. You have to forgive me, I got to put on my glasses because I am getting older. If you don't remember me, I'm Officer James McGowan, formerly the Barre City Police Department. Came here to make I'm going to read a prearranged statement so that I don't unnecessarily waste your time, because I know the business you folks deal with is very important, and we'll go from there. So the purpose here is to set the record straight regarding my March 2025 resignation from Barre City PD, to defend my honor, reputation, to provide supporting documentation of my defense, to request fairness, transparency, and accountability from Barre City officials. A little bit of my background. I'm a graduate of Norwich University, class of 2007. I served as a first lieutenant United States Marine Corps, serving 2 overseas deployments. I have served as a Vermont State Trooper for almost last 8 years, I served as a patrol officer for the Barre City Police Department. I'm a 4th-generation law enforcement officer in my family with over 100 years of dedicated police service. Incident history: on 12/20/2024, I arrested a fleeing felon in Barre City, which required the use of force after the subject resisted arrest and assaulted me. On 12/23/24, I was placed on administrative leave by Barre City officials on an allegation of excessive force. On 1/15/25, the Vermont State Police concluded there was no evidence of excessive force after investigation. On 1/16/2025, the Orange County State's Attorney's Office cleared my 12/20/24 use of force actions, stating Officer McGowan's exercise of force was reasonable and that his use of force was necessary to defend himself. On 2/4/2025, a second internal investigation ordered by the Barre City Police Department by Windsor, Vermont Police resulted in a substantiated finding that excessive force was used. On 2/13/2025, Barre City recommended my termination. On March 9th, 2025, I was pressured to resign for fear of losing my health care benefits if terminated while my 5-year-old was undergoing a serious invasive medical procedure at the time. The city scheduled my Loudermill hearing for 2 days after his procedure, knowing I would be focused on my son's care. I resigned to ensure my 5-year-old's safety and treatment was not affected. On March 5th, 2025, Barre City Police filed an Act 56 complaint with the Vermont Criminal Justice Council, also known as the VCJC, the state entity that regulates law enforcement actions and certifications. The Act 56 complaint outcome. On 12/16/2025, after a 6-hour hearing at the VCJC, all charges against me were dismissed with prejudice. I was completely exonerated by unanimous 18-0 vote the first time in VCJC history. An order of dismissal was issued. I was not even required to present a defense, as a directed verdict was issued by the council and the state presented their case, including testimony from the internal affairs investigator, a use of force expert in Barre City Police. The merit/findings of the IA investigation were dealt with during the hearing and will not be re-litigated here, as the VCJC is the controlling entity. Personal commentary, excuse me real quick. Personal commentary. For almost 1 full year, my family and I lived a horrific daily nightmare. The emotional, physical, psychological, reputational harm, and financial pressures were almost unbearable and never ending. On administrative leave, I could not work any overtime and were severely affected financially. My legal defense fees cost thousands upon thousands of dollars. My wife and 2 sons were severely affected at home and in school. My son's unable to understand the magnitude and stressors every day and odd interactions in the Barre community. I was shunned at work, intentionally embarrassed by Barre City police officials in front of fellow officers. City officials provided negative comments to local TV, podcast, and press media, and volunteered a 8-second video clip of the police encounter lasting 8 minutes and 17 seconds, all before the 12:25 VCJC hearing. I was unable to respond or defend myself at the time due to my pending hearing. That restriction no longer applies and will be addressed in the media moving forward. Please note, I did have the strong support of the local Barre community with a petition drive to reinstate me signed by more than 900 residents post VCJC 12/26/25 hearing. Even after the unanimous 18-0 vote and dismissal of all charges, city officials continued to disparage me. On 12/18/2025 and 1/6/26, a city official provided negative commentary to your council that the VCJC was incorrect in their decision and that the city stood by their initial findings while providing 2 supporting documents. The city official conveniently failed to inform the council that those 2 documents were presented as evidence at the 12/16/25 hearing, as well as the IA investigator and the use of force expert extensive testimony over 6 hours. The unanimous verdict clearly shows that both the testimony and supporting documentation were either completely rejected or not viewed credible by the entire VCJC board. Despite the unanimous decision, city officials still appear unwilling to accept that over 25 law enforcement professionals in Vermont, the VSP and the VSP, BCI command staff, Orange County State's Attorney's Office, and unanimous VCJC full council all agreed the use of force was reasonable, negating the initial findings of Barre City Police, Windsor Police, and resulting in complete exoneration. Regarding supporting documentation, and if given the opportunity to present prior to the directed verdict on 12/16/25, I would have introduced 2 documents of my own. Those documents being an expert report from the former colonel around the state police and a PowerPoint produced by my attorney, both of which were stipulated to evidence at the 12/16 hearing. For your review, bear with me 1 second. Okay. Next page, excuse me. Please note this report cites the 2/13/2025 Barre City letter and the 3/5/25 Act 56 complaint as containing false or misleading statements, repeated critical omissions of material facts, and repeated examples of Barre City PD's failure to identify or disclose exculpatory evidence, resulting in my due process rights being repeatedly violated. Those concerns will be addressed in a separate legal forum. I will provide copies of both reports to any council member interested in reviewing. Barre City Police unfair disciplinary practices. Lastly, I contend that I was subjected to a different level of discipline in my 12/20/2024 event compared to other Barre City Police use of force cases, which appear to be significantly more egregious than mine. I was placed on administrative leave almost immediately for more than 5 months, subjected to 2 separate investigations, and had an Act 56 complaint filed with the VCJC by Barre City Police. I was accused of striking a subject 3 to 5 times in the face and head area with empty hand strikes, later deemed authorized by VCJC. So the subjects suffered a bloody lip. On 12/27/25, the same subject was arrested by 2 Barre City police officers and resisted arrest, as in my case. Records show one officer struck the subject in the head face area at least 17 times. The subjects suffered facial fractures. Body camera is available upon request. On July 28, 2025, a subject was illegally riding a bicycle on a Barre highway, also known as Vermont Route 62. 2 Barre officers detained him. Subject was non-cooperative. After being handcuffed with his arms behind his back and while on the ground, the subject was pepper sprayed. Pepper spray usage was later criticized by a VCJC certified use of force instructor as improper. The body camera is available, but the body camera links on YouTube are no longer available for reasons I will not discuss here. It is my understanding that in both cases referenced above, no disciplinary action was taken, no administrative leave was issued, and no internal investigations were opened. And no ACFA FD6 campaigns were filed with the VCJC. Both use of force cases were approved by Barre City Police. That is the end of my presentation. Does anyone have any questions at this time?
Counselor?
Let's start off with, so from my understanding, there was 2 committees, for lack of a better term, that the police chief of Barre used to look over your case, correct?
The Vermont State Police and Orange County State's Attorney's Office, sir.
Okay, and they both came back that you did not use excessive force, correct?
Yes, so the Vermont State Police did the investigation. The Orange County State's Attorney's Office did the analysis. They said the force was reasonable and there's no and it was justified for use of self-defense. Also, the Vermont Criminal Justice Council voted 18-0.
Well, I'm going to get to that.
Yes, sir.
So we have 2 committees that were picked by the Barre City Police Department with the chief that came back that you weren't guilty.
Yes.
I'm putting this in pretty easy terms.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so it didn't end there.
No, sir.
So then they wanted a different answer, so they went out and they hired another independent source, which was because I actually saw the deposition. She was moving to Florida. And
Yes, sir.
so she gave a deposition that it was excessive force, correct?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fast forward, it goes to the highest court, so to speak, the Vermont judiciary. And not only did you not present if I'm correct, colonel as a witness.
Yes, sir.
Before that happened, they had a recess and 18-0 found, and this is the important part, if people don't know the legal term, without prejudice.
Yes, sir.
Which means everything's wiped. It's clear. There's nothing there. It's done.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. Number 2, you're stating facts of other officers, and I appreciate the fact that you're not mentioning names because I'm sure they're.
Because I'd gavel you down in a
sorry?
New York minute. Because I would gavel you down in a New York minute.
What's the matter? No, I'm not putting names.
Okay.
No,
Don't.
I'm just saying, do you have backup? Do you have backup stuff to prove those incidences? Because I don't want to throw someone under the bus.
Those incidents would be easily discovered through a FOIA request to the city of Barre, sir. Those incidents, the dates were July 28th, 2025, and then December 27th, 2025, sir.
And one of them is the same perpetrator, so to speak.
Yes, sir, the incident
Without mentioning
on
names.
December 27th, 2025.
Okay, so we've been going down this road for quite a while now, and you actually gave your resignation. That seems to be the main reason.
Yes, sir.
But now it's comes to a fruition that you did it for the sake of your child.
I did it to protect my 5-year-old son, yes,
Because
sir.
I don't know the insurance programs that the police have, but if you didn't resign, you would have lost that, correct?
Yes, to give some context, my son has, and forgive me, I don't know the medical terms, he has viral asthma, which makes, when he gets sick, his respiratory systems go haywire. He was having a procedure done inside of his throat in middle of March or so. The decision was made to hold a hearing about 2 days after, and I was told repeatedly that if I go to the hearing, I would be fired. and then I would lose medical benefits at the end of March of 2025. So what I was told was if I submit a voluntary resignation, I would be paid and retain benefits through, I believe it was till either May 1st or June, sir. Without hesitation, I resigned from the city of Barre, not because I did anything wrong, but simply to protect my son, because without the medical benefits, I dare not think what would happen to him.
When this all happened, what was your rank?
I was a patrol officer.
Corporal?
Nope.
Below?
I was the lowest rank possible.
Can I reach out, Officer Tucker? You're a sergeant, correct? Do you think Officer McGowan's an asset to the police department?
Officer McGowan is a fine officer.
I'm sorry?
Fine officer.
Okay, I'm gonna really make this right to the end.
Yes, sir.
So after all you've told us tonight, and what you've been through, and I don't doubt it, if they're offering you your position, you'd love to stay in Barre, Vermont because you're committed here, is that correct?
I would come back.
Putting you on the spot.
I would come back in a heartbeat, yes, sir.
And everything's forgotten, and we start a new chapter.
I just want to be closer to my family and serve the community I once loved serving, sir.
Okay, and I'm done.
Thank you. Any other questions, council? Yes.
What do you think that it would take to get your current position back with the city of Barre?
What would it take?
Sure.
From me or from someone else, sir?
Just in general. If you were to apply for the position, do you think that you would get an interview? Like we currently have open spots for the police department.
Yes, I'm aware that a candidate from the city of Barre just dropped out of the academy today, so there's another body lost. I don't know who is exactly in charge of approving me rejoining the department, but I'm beyond qualified and ready to go, sir.
And I guess just for the council's edification, I mean, you understand that as a city council, I hope you've all read the charter. So I think you must all understand that we have zero jurisdiction in this matter. We have a city manager, we have a police chief, they make the hiring and firing decisions. And you and I have had this conversation
Yes, sir.
before, James.
What I would say, Mr. Mayor, is the chief and the city manager stand by their decision, but they're disagreeing with the Vermont State Police, Orange County State's Attorney's Office, and the Vermont Criminal Justice Council. So I'm not sure I understand why they stand by their decision when you had the two top state agencies say essentially that I did nothing wrong. That's all I want to get on the record, sir.
It's on the record.
Thank you, sir.
You know, we have a
Anything
hard
else,
time
council?
getting people, we have a hard time getting 1,000 people to vote in the city, and we have 1,000 there standing behind you.
Thank you, sir.
Who hires the chief?
I'm sorry?
Who hires the chief and the city manager?
Who hires them?
Correct.
The city council.
So you're over all of them, but have no say in this matter?
We hire them. If you read the city charter, while we hire them, we can certainly terminate them. I mean, the manager serves at the will of the council. We do not hire the police chief. We do not hire anyone below the city manager. That's not the function of the Barre City Council, or any city council that I'm aware of.
All due respect, I'm just curious, what training does our city manager have to say whether excessive force was used in a police situation?
What? I'm sorry, ma'am? I didn't hear your question.
What training does our city manager have? Have they been through police academy to determine whether or not excessive force was used?
No, I'm not aware that the city manager is certified in law enforcement.
Okay, so.
Yeah, thank you. Anything else, council?
Something irrelevant, but I have to say it. It's kind of funny. About 2 months ago, I was watching a movie on Netflix about an FBI agent who infiltrated the Philadelphia Mafia as an FBI undercover agent, and his name was Mike McGowan. It's James' father, and he's in the audience right here, and my hat's off out to you, sir.
Any other questions? Thank you, James.
Thank you, sir.
Council, we'll move on to the consent agenda. I'm sorry, is there anyone else under visitors and communications who wishes to address the council? Okay, hearing and seeing no one, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Council will be approving the minutes of 3/24/26. You have any licenses you need to issue?
None.
Okay. And we will be authorizing the city manager to execute contracts. We have, I believe, 3. One is for a police department cruiser that was in your packet. TIF improvements associated with Stevens Branch Apartments. He'll be signing that with All States Construction. That is $1.2 million. That is a $1.2 million contract, and that will be coming from the TIF bond proceeds. And then the fiscal year 2027 paving plan, that's a TBD. We'll be reviewing that later in the meeting. And that is approximately $800,000 that will come from the Capital Improvement Fund and the voter-approved allocation based on projections and available resources. Motion will be in order. Thank you.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. Council will move on to item 4A on the agenda. We'll be approving the city warrants the week of 4/8/26 and ratifying the week of 4/1/26. A motion would be in order.
So moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed,
And I'd like to abstain.
abstention is noted. Thank you very much. Ms. City Clerk, it's all yours.
Good evening. I have just 3 things I'd like to speak about. They're kind of all related to the election. The annual town meeting election is scheduled for Tuesday, May 12th. Absentee ballot should be requested now if you have not already done so. Please remember, this has to be done annually. It just doesn't roll over from year to year. Request every year. Secondly, let's say when the warrant is approved tonight, my goal is to have the ballots ready for the week of the 13th. We're working with Al Brown and trusting that they will keep up with the prompt service so we can get those mailed out probably midweek of the week of the 13th. And thirdly, and I'm going to put this out quite often,
What was the date
probably,
again? I'm sorry, the date that you want them to mail out, the 13th?
I'm hoping, no, the week of the 13th. Yeah, I'm guessing they'll be there midweek. Thirdly, and I'm going to say this probably at every council meeting, the temporary polling place is going to be Alumni Hall, second floor. I am putting everything on Facebook, Front Porch Forum, our city website. I will probably put a few ads in the Times Argus, and we will have as much directional up at the polling site just to guide people more to the right versus straight towards the auditorium. And yeah, you'll be hearing that probably every meeting until the election.
That's okay. So I mean, and I think Alumni Hall is fine, as long as you can get people there, folks who have mobility challenges. I mean, is there any way, can you put a tent? I mean, it's May. Could you have a couple of BCA members are you allowed to do that, or would that be a violation of something?
I would have to inquire about that, but I don't.
I mean, I know you can actually send.
For voting.
You can actually send 2 BCA members out to a car, for example, as long as there are 2, and they can go out to a vehicle and they can present a ballot to a voter. They have to, obviously identify them, but that's legal, isn't it, Carol? So.
The challenge is the check-in table, and you couldn't have sort of like an auxiliary check-in.
Gotcha.
Downstairs. You could do all your check-in downstairs, or you can do all your check-in upstairs, but you couldn't do sort of split.
Yeah.
So the B-wire is not available at all?
Mm-mm.
I mean,
that'd be perfect. It's flat, easy to get.
Well, I mean, the turf. there's turf laid down, there's so many obstacles on the floor itself. And the layout just isn't.
I disagree with the mayor that Alumni Hall, you're gonna have some issues with people getting in and out.
Well, there's an elevator, but it's
full service
directing them to the
elevator.
elevator. And I'm just,
And I do intend on having somebody at the door to direct the people.
That's what I was
who
just
need
going to
to.
suggest
Okay.
and ask if there's a
we'll
hybrid.
be okay. I mean, we've done, I mean, heck, we've done drive-through voting. That was awesome.
That was pretty great.
I think it would be, Cheryl and I haven't had an opportunity to talk about this yet, but I think it would be appropriate if there was a BCA member or a pair down on the ground to call up.
Yep.
To the BCA table up in the room and say, I have so-and-so, they could get checked off the list, then the ballots could come down, we could.
Yeah, some kind of runner system.
Yeah.
Oh, we'd have walkie-talkies.
Yes.
Oh.
Golf cart.
Papa
Well,
Bear.
Amanda, unfortunately, you can't work this one.
That's right. Oh, shoot.
Okay, wait, really, you're awfully excited.
You started with the walkie-talkies and then you took them away from me. Just
Took them away from myself.
like that.
Sonia can play with them.
No, I can't.
No, she can't.
Oh, no, you can't either. Oh, my God, no, we're not giving you a walkie-talkie.
Okay, folks, we're out of control.
If you had an iPad, you could do facial, so you can prove that
Facial.
that's who they are. Because it could be voter fraud.
Okay.
All right, so anyway.
Sorry I brought it up. Anything else?
No, that is it.
Okay, thank you very much. Anything under liquor and cannabis control?
Not at this time.
Okay, Mr. Manager, it's all yours.
Thank you, Mayor. A couple updates for the council. Stevens Branch Apartments moving forward, thank you for the approval of the contract. That was our next big milestone. We are meeting on site with the property abutters on easements this week. They've had utility companies coming in to do work, so that's really moving forward and at a good clip. The cemetery digitization project is proceeding swimmingly as well. Scott McLaughlin is just doing excellent work. We were so lucky that he was interested and willing to do this because it's been a ton of work. They're actually, he's on schedule. They're actually building, some sites is actually building our custom platform right now. So they have to, map it out and, specifically geotag it to our lots and everything. So they're at that point where they're starting to build out the platform specific to Barre, to Hope and all our cemeteries. So very, very excited about that. Hope and projects on schedule. And like I said, hopefully it should be rolling out this summer for public access to the information. The nuisance property ordinance that was enacted by the council, I think this was late last calendar year or early this year, went into effect on April 3rd. So we are we'll start enforcement here in this coming week, meeting with the police chief, fire chief, code enforcement, planning to get us rolling on that. But that ordinance had a lapse in it was enacted, passed by the council. It had the 14-day waiting period, and it had, I think, a 60 or 90-day period after that. So that's why it is just now coming into effect, is to give people basically time. And then also, I think you've probably heard, I emailed the council about this, and I know it was in the paper today, that we did not receive CDBG-DR Round 2 grants. We had, as you recall, 2 applications, the 5.1 million for buyouts and elevations and the 1.5 million for acquisitions. So we're notified. We don't have a specific reasoning rationale for why the grants weren't awarded. As soon as we get it, we'll share it, but we don't have sort of a download debrief with the state about what the rationale was.
That's a question.
Sure.
Is that the one that they came back and said that we didn't change the application? It was the same as the first time around?
That was the email we received. They said that, but they also had said previously that the buyouts were very competitive. They just didn't like the acquisition, so we split the acquisitions out, and they still didn't fund the buyouts. So I don't have anything more than that. They didn't.
I just didn't like that
applications
answer they gave. I didn't like the way they said that.
The only thing that changed in our applications from round 1 was that, they're right, substantively they didn't change. The only thing that was different is we had broken out the acquisitions because they didn't like it. So we thought if they still like the buyouts and elevations, that should move forward. The elevation and it just, none of them went through. So I don't have anything beyond that. I don't know if they do any formal scoring or if we get any other opportunity to ask the state questions. But if I do, we will share that. And then finally, I think many of you know her, Roxanne, my executive assistant. She was my first hire when I started in the city. She has been semi-retired. She's going into full retirement at the end of this week. She wanted to make sure we got the annual report done. So thank you, Mayor, for getting your report in. So we were very happy, wishing Roxanne the very best. She's earned a full retirement. She stuck around while I was away in Australia so that somebody would be answering the phone and, opening the mail, but now she's ready to be done. So we appreciate everything Roxanne did. She was my first hire about a month after I started.
Is she, now, have you advertised that?
Not yet.
position?
We're gonna figure out how we'll move forward. I know we'll need something in that capacity, just haven't figured out exactly what the role will be, but we will find a path forward for it.
When you anticipate that'll be? Give or take?
Probably after town meeting day, probably just get past the.
Okay.
Past that.
I mean, it's, you know how I feel about
Yes,
that position.
yes.
I mean, it's sort of the air traffic controller. People come to City Hall, they don't know where to go, and they, I don't know, they all gravitate, must be the center of the universe or something. They all gravitate there. No, and it's an important position.
Yeah.
And more importantly, I realize your door is always open, but it's kind of a bummer when your door is always open.
Yeah.
So it's just really important. To me, I think it's an essential, position. And, So, yes, question.
Two questions. One quick one. When are we expecting to break ground on the city side of the improvements for the Stevens branch?
I know they're looking at a very expedited timeframe. I know we are, I think at the end of this month is when all states wanted to get going, right? You were on that call, Carol, right? Yeah, end of this month. So that's how quickly, that's why, the contract was important today. The site visit, on-site meeting on Thursday is important as well. They have a really aggressive schedule. We have to do a little value engineering. As with everything, the bids came in a little bit higher than we expected. That's just what's happening across the board. And so we're doing a little value engineering. For example, we may have to carve out the West Street paving and then just add that to our paving plan next year, right? So we don't do it as part of the TIF project because we're going to be tight for funds there. We can do that as part of a paving plan and still get it done and not leave it hanging, just do it with separate funding. So that's a way to save some money. One thing I don't want to cut, but we may have to, is the landscaping, which is, it's always easy to go to that, but it's also one of the things that's a nice attraction about the change. But it's something, we can live without landscaping, we can't live with some of the utility work. So those are the kinds of things we're looking at. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We took the low bidder on all states. We scrutinized the bids very thoroughly. They're still higher than what we had allocated. So we're going to have to make some decisions about things that maybe slip off.
Okay. And a brief follow-up question, do we anticipate any major road closures or traffic redirection as part of that work?
Yeah, I think Seminary Street will have some disruptions once we get closer to their schedule at the end of the month, we'll have a better sense. But yeah, I would expect some disruptions in that area.
Okay, thank you. And briefly on the CDBG-DR grants, it's my understanding there's a $4 million-ish in a third round. Have they yet? 4.2.
4.2, but who's counting? But who's counting?
I had that in my head, but I was going ish. 4.2 million in the third round. Have they yet issued guidance on which bucket that will fall into?
I haven't heard anything definitively, so the answer is I don't know.
Okay.
So just to expand, I guess, on both your questions, so I have had the opportunity to debrief. I mean, the board chose to focus on housing. Obviously, these weren't housing, you heard my comments in the paper, and these have been my comments to ACCD, that in order to attract a developer, when we tried to offer Wabi Park for $1 to build some meaningful housing, we heard the same thing time after time. No developer was interested because they said, we don't want to go first, and we want to see a path forward for the rest of the neighborhood. And so that's what we're trying to work. And, I think they're still encouraging. I think we can submit a very competitive application, and we're looking forward to doing that. It bothers me personally that the north end needs our help the most, and we haven't been able to find funding. So come hell or high water,
Yeah.
forget the last part. Forget the last part. No, we're going to figure this out, and we're going to figure this out in the next 8 to 9 months. We're going to figure it out. So, yeah, we'll have more on that. And when, like I said, they'll share a public briefing, and then the manager can distribute that to the board. Anything else for the manager, folks? Okay. Yes.
Not way back, but about a month ago, we talked about the 143 project, and we came up that we should at least clean it up to make it look a little more appetite, appeasing to the eye. I keep, time I drive by there, I think that. I mean, I'd be willing to donate time. What can we actually do, actually think of what we can do to make that? I'm not saying,
Pray for fairly consistent 50 to 60 degree weather. Seriously, I'm not trying to be
clean the
glib,
windows up.
but even to wash buildings, you
But
can't.
this is our first step.
Yeah.
I think with you, Michael.
Listen, maybe we could all make a work bee out of it.
I'd love
and
to.
Meet you down there.
That's a
I've got
nice
window
piece of
cleaning
property
equipment we
gotta
can
clean up a
use.
little bit.
Yep. We could do that, but I mean, to that end.
You're right, the weather's.
We will be pursuing funds to basically remove the building, to tear the building down.
That'd be great too.
And we'd like to do that. We're looking at possible grant opportunities now. We'd like to do that sooner rather than later. So believe me, the manager and I have spoken quite a bit about that. And it's not going to look like that in a year. It can't.
Because even someone coming in and seeing it's gone, that's the first step that they don't have to look at now. They're gonna say, wow, look at that piece, that's a nice piece of property there, okay.
We've done it before. Okay, any other questions, council? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to item 8A on the agenda. This is the second reading, warned for 6:15. We are way over, but I have been not aware that a lot of people have come and gone. So this is the second reading, warned for 6:15 PM, public nudity ordinance. Council or members of the public, any questions or comments? They're just speechless. Okay, yes.
I have one spelling error.
Oh, no.
It's in red under A, authority. It says there too, and it's THEIRE, and it really should not be.
Yeah.
Yeah. That should not be that.
It's like someone tried to split the difference on that.
I will fix that.
Thank you.
Okay, would you consider that a substantive change, Madam Clerk? Okay, well, I just like to get it on, I just got to get it on the record, because if it is, then we go back to a first reading. Okay, so that change has been noted, that change has been made. Is there any other questions or comments from the public or the council? So hearing none, a motion would be in order to consider the public nudity ordinance read 2 times, and it will be enacted into ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, thank you very much. Ryan, it's all yours.
All right.
Come on up. Why don't you have a seat? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, I'm Ryan Horvath. I'm a relatively recent transplant to Barre, about 2.5 years now. Prior to that, was living further south down in Mount Holly. I am a relatively close neighbor to the cow pasture, regular visitor. I've got 2 little kids, a 3 and a 6, so it serves as both a great place to bring them to burn energy and for myself to not be there with them. So I'm a big supporter of the cow pasture. I'm really excited to be more involved in the community. I'm happy to answer any questions. Previously worked at Forest and Parks in land acquisition. Don't get to do that anymore, but previously did.
That's about, have you participated or had the opportunity to watch any meetings yet?
Yeah, I attended last month's meeting.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So you understand, I mean, I ask this of everyone when they're joining a committee, you understand the time constraint. You're obviously prepared to make that effort.
Yep,
And make sure you attend the meetings and do your part.
More than happy to.
Fantastic. Any questions for Ryan? So designing databases, like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so talk to me.
It's not very interesting to most folks. I find it interesting, but it's.
Want to know something? A million years ago, somebody said that about AI.
Yeah.
It's not really that interesting.
Yeah.
And now and I'm sorry to digress, but I watched an interview on PBS, the gentleman who invented AI. And his comment about it was, when they were talking about, well, how do you think it's going to go? His comment, he kind of sighed and he said, well, it's out of the box now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm involved in a few AA projects right now.
So maybe your databases are a lot more interesting than.
Yeah, glorified spreadsheets is what they all are, and they, I like them quite a bit.
Oh, that explains the friendship with Councilor Guston. The spreadsheet. I get it. Ryan, I think you'd be a fine addition. Any other questions, Council? Yes.
Was there a question about the term?
Yes, I was just going to note that. So Ryan, the vacant term is technically a term that expires in 26, which would be June 30, 26. So I suggested that the council just go ahead, instead of forcing Ryan to come back in a month, just appoint him for the term and then that subsequent 2-year term. So he would be on for 2 years and a couple of months. That way saves him a trip and saves you another.
Yeah, we wouldn't have him back, but procedurally, can we do that? I mean, a 2-year term is a 2-year term, so we'd do the 1-month term, and then we just have it on the agenda to.
Yeah,
we'd have to have it as 2 separate motions, wouldn't we?
We can move.
None of these terms are in statute
Oh, they're not?
ordinance, so.
Oh, okay.
So
Then
we
we'll
can do
do that.
whatever we want.
Rules are made up.
Is that a motion?
It is not, well, it will be a
Oh.
motion momentarily. I just want to say that in addition to stepping up for the Cow Pasture, Ryan is also stepping up for the Matthewson Playground Committee. And I deeply appreciate his investment in the places that he cares about, making them better. So I want to thank him for doing that and for stepping up for the Cow Pasture. And now I will make the motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Been seconded. Any discussion? Ryan, when good people step up, good things happen. All those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, welcome aboard, Ryan. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, council, we're at item 8C on the agenda. We're going to consider the Vermont Center for Independent Living's request to be placed on the town meeting day ballot for voter-approved assistance. And you had this document at your place? And that's a document that tells a little bit about the Vermont Center for Independent Living, what they do, the request amount, what they do, their federal ID number there in the upper right. Yep.
And
Of course.
Mayor, Linda is here from the center. If you.
Hi, Linda.
just
Would
as a
you,
heads up.
if you'd like to address the council, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you. Good evening, everybody. First, I really just want to say how much I appreciate this opportunity to just do it this way. I have also been told immediately to get a petition, and that's a heavy lift for a nonprofit. And with, I'll say, the post office issues after the flood and some personal issues, I have missed deadlines, and that is on me. So I very much appreciate being able to just talk on behalf of my organization to get on the warning. We are a nonprofit, obviously. We are a disability justice organization. And I kind of just did a past 5 years, what we've done in the town of Barre. On average, or city of Barre, my apologies. We have been requesting funds for about 18 years. I just had my 20th year at the organization, which was both wonderful and horrifying. But on average, we serve 68 residents every year. This past year, we served 50. I think that's what's on the sheet that we gave you. We, on average, spend about $30,000 in the city each year. And the programs consist of our home access program. We do ramps and bathroom modifications. We want people to stay in their homes if that's where they want to be. Meals on Wheels, I think that is the biggest population of the Barre residents, those that receive Meals on Wheels. This past year, we had 13 residents receiving that. We have something called the Sue Williams Freedom Fund, We provide $1,500 grants for assistive technology, and we had a flood fund. We did some repairs for some people in Barre City, and yeah, in general, we just we want people to be in their Barre City homes where they want to be, and we do what we can to keep them there. So if you have any questions, please let me know. I'm sorry, I'm very nervous.
You don't need to be. Thank you. You did a great job. Thank you. So council, the appropriate motion would be to approve the request to be placed on the town meeting day ballot for voter-approved assistance.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion?
A question.
Yes, of course.
So all these requests for funding, are we grouping this as one question, or are they going to be individually listed?
Well, that's coming up under 8E on the agenda.
Okay.
Yeah, so that would be the appropriate time. I mean, currently, our practice has been to group them. But if you want to have that discussion, we can have that discussion.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, so this would be simply to approve Vermont Center for Independent Living, their request to be on the ballot, whether on their own, grouped together, they'll be on the ballot. So a motion has been made. Was there a second to that? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, there was. So it was moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed? Thank you very much. Congratulations, Linda. Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you, we appreciate it. And I also appreciate the talk about accessible voting.
Thank you. Okay, council, we're at item 8D on the agenda. This is music to everyone's ears. We're going to talk about the fiscal year 27, which is this paving season, paving plan expansion.
Thank you, Mayor. And Brian is online to help answer questions. And also, this came in late to your inboxes, but that was because we were trying to, as we were figuring out checking references, we wanted to make sure we gave you the pricing based on the paving contractor that we selected. So I do apologize for the tardiness in getting this in front of you today. So we shared a couple weeks ago, the paving bid went out for the coming construction season. We have several streets on that plan. The biggest stretch is Camp Street from Hill to Tremont. We have some paving on Seminary Street above where the Stevens Branch apartment is, Auditorium Hill up to the, basically to the main entrance of the auditorium. Brian, we have Plain Spalding Street. I'm forgetting maybe one more.
Yeah, we're doing Seminary all the way over to Maple, then Plain Street at the bottom of completing Warren Street, and then probably going around that block on Maple. And then Spalding Street, we have some water connections to do at the base of it. So in order that all fits the problem, we've had water main breaks up Spalding. So we'll complete that repair and then pave Spalding.
Thank you, Brian. And so what we wanted to talk to you about, the numbers above the line here, the first two sections are what we would like the council to consider with the additional $200,000 that's been contemplated for Article 2 of the voter-approved funding for this. So that would roughly be a $200,000 increase. It's a $200,000 increase from $600,000 to $800,000, assuming the voters approve it in May. We have two options here that get us roughly to that ballpark. We think we can make these work with capital improvement funds and other funds as well. So they're slightly above 200,000, but they are the tranches of street that need to be done. I'll start with the second one, which I think is a little bit easier. It's Prospect Street from Burnham to City Hall. It's basically to finish what we did on Prospect last year. This is tied to some sewer work, so there'd be $20,000 that would have to be done out of the Sewer Enterprise Fund to complete this project. But that would just take care of Prospect. We did it last year. It turned out great, and we'd be done.
You brought up a really good point a couple of weeks ago or whatever, that when we look at a paving outlay, that a lot of it has to do with infrastructure. On this one on Prospect, is that something that we can do in-house so we save money from I mean, you know what I'm talking about? When we brought that up, that if you have $1 million, you know, you probably have 700,000, the other 300 is gonna go for, you know, infrastructure, people who can do that. So is that pretty much we're gonna be able to do that?
Brian, would we contract this one out, or would we have our guys do the sewer work on Prospect?
I believe we're planning on doing the sewer work ourselves on Prospect because we lined the sewer out to Main Street last year. So this is just that section. There's a manhole by Merchants Row out to the railroad into just that section there. And then we have some drainage work that's actually in the railroad right away. So we'll have to coordinate with them to get that all done. But that Prospect Street, our force is doing the prep work.
So that one, all in, is about, with the resurfacing, the drainage work, the sidewalk work, and the sewer work, is approximately $130,000. So the first one listed here, I'm doing it second because this is challenging, is South Main Street, which I think we all know is one of the worst stretches of street in the city. The trade-off is that this is a state responsibility, and this would not be the estimate we're giving you here of $119,000 on the paving and the $19,000 on the utilities is for a shim. So it wouldn't be a full rebuild. It wouldn't be, the state would still have to come in 28 or 2030 when they actually come in, and they would have to reconstruct it, and we would have to do the structures and all that around it. This would basically get us to that point. So that's why it's tough for me, because it's basically doing some of the state's work.
Yes.
Question about that. If we do it, do we then get pushed out even further?
I don't think so, because we would not be doing a full reconstruction. When the state comes in, they do a full reconstruction, and I think we would still have. I have not asked that question, so I'm just speaking on supposition.
I have. I have. Yeah. And the answer is, if we do maintenance, and shimming is considered maintenance, that does not affect the schedule.
Okay.
We'd have to do, as the manager said, we'd have to do a full rebuild, and we're not.
They'd have to come do the other parts that wouldn't be done at that point. So anyway, it is a Band-Aid. It is a good Band-Aid. It will make people happy who drive on South Main Street very happy. It is also directing $139,000 of resources at a state street. So Brian and I and TJ can hold our noses and do it. We'll also enjoy driving on it ourselves, but it will also hurt every time we do so, because we know that it's basically doing work that we could be directing elsewhere. So that said, if the voters approve that extra $200,000, we would suggest that we take care of these two projects, South Main Street and Prospect Street. And we can, like I said, they're a little bit over, but I think with capital improvement funding, capital improvement fund resources, we can make it work. The projects on the bottom of this line, we had talked about taking borrowing from the COSI fund and doing some additional paving. We looked at, with Public Works, Brian, TJ, and I looked at some streets that we could sort of cluster together to get them done and do the utilities. We came up with this cluster on Boynton, Perrin Beach, and Newton Street. You can see the numbers there. They're pretty high. And we could knock this down to the $700,000 range. But there's a lot of sewer work. Now, we could do everything except the sewer work, but then if something, those sewers are outdated, it's to our benefit to just take care of all of it, because if something happens, we have to bust up what we paved anyway.
Does Perrin Street start from Berlin and go all the way up down to the other side, or that?
Perrin's on Beckley.
I know,
Off Beckley.
it starts at Beckley. Would you go
It
all
goes-
the way out?
Goes to Brook Street.
It goes to Elmwood.
I know, my question is how far you doing the whole thing?
This is for the whole thing, right, Brian?
Yeah, I believe it is.
What's the traffic flow on that road? Can't be a lot.
They're neighborhood streets, but at this point, we are at, once we do Lower Camp, we will have, by and large, taken care of most of the sort of the connector streets. We've done Camp will be done by this summer. Farwell's done, Merchants done, Berlin, Prospect, Allen are all done. So the streets that are basically connecting neighborhoods to Main Street in Washington are by and large taken care of. So now we're starting to get into the neighborhood clusters, and this is one where we looked at distance of linear feet to be paved plus associated structural work that needs to be done. So before we get too far, I would say, we don't have to the council does not have to make this decision today. I think that this is an illustrative exercise. This is this is still above the $700,000, right? So this is still, and this has a lot of resources that would have to be figured out on the sewer side. But realistically, once we get out, now that we've done those main connector streets, we're going to be looking at a lot of projects like this. They're going to get expensive quickly because we have to do not just the paving and the drainage. We're looking at having to do sewer or water in most of these places just because that's where the problems are. That's where the breaks happen. That's where emergency, overtimes get called, and it's very little value to do the whole work to pave something without taking care of what's wrong underneath.
So is that why Perrin's on the list for utilities? Because didn't we just do Perrin not too long ago? We had an issue with the paving company. Wasn't that Perrin Street?
I don't think we certainly haven't done Perrin since I've been here. Not since I've been here.
Recall doing.
Maybe it wasn't Perrin, then, was it?
I don't know if Brian has any. Do you know when was the last time we did Perrin? I can't recall.
I don't know. I know there was a water main that was done on Elm, probably 10 to 15 years ago. That might be what you're thinking about, is the contract that did Elmwood and not Perrin.
And Air Street's not included in any of these?
So Air Streets, we have a big water project there too. Water project would be targeted for next year with the paving to follow. Did I get that timing right, Brian? That's the sequence there.
We actually applied for we put our priority list application to get a revolving loan from the state, which hopefully it would come with some subsidy. And, Spalding had requested this water main upgrade for sprinkler service. So we're trying to get that done prior to paving. Sure. It would all be one project. The paving would be tied in right with the water main project. And if everything, if the priority list comes out here sometime this summer, we can get the loan approved and start construction next year, but we would probably put the stipulations on timing it between the school years.
Judy Copping, did you have a question or a comment?
Yeah, I'm wondering about Lower Berlin Street. That was not done. And there are potholes galore down there on that racetrack.
Lower Berlin, we have a project going on a water main crossing of 62 this year. It's actually we're opening bids on Thursday, and I'm really hoping we get a good price for water main, because that Lower Berlin is really problematic, and I was going to just have the contractor extend that water main as far down as we can, because that's the one problem we have to fix before we can do Lower Berlin. But that Lower Berlin is on the list of the neighborhood streets that would be probably, when we get to it, that whole neighborhood of Smith, Berlin, Foss, and Vine Street. That whole neighborhood is probably high on the list for neighborhoods.
Okay, because I was going to ask you if you could just grade Smith Streat down to a dirt road, because it's terrible.
Yeah, we all know that, and we're trying to fix that water problem first, and then we'll, that it would probably crank it right up on the priority list if we can get that water main. But the water main on Berlin Street, that lower part there, we have had multiple breaks since you can see all the patches that are in there. And if we don't get that part fixed, it's just going to ruin the new pavement that we put down.
Okay, I'm just going to invite you all to come down here. Don't come more than 5 miles an hour down Smith Street.
It's pretty bad. And thank you, Judy. look, I could make a case for a lot of streets. We fell behind, and that's the simple fact of the matter. But I'm proud of the fact that in the last 2 years, we have doubled our paving appropriation, so thank you for that, council. And next year, we are going up another 200,000, and hopefully another 200,000 until we get it to about 1.5 million. That's where it needs to be. I mean, look at the prices, you know, the tonnage prices here. You got most of them kind of grouped there, you know, at the apparent low bidder is around $1.10 a ton. There are prices in here that surprise $146 and $162, 50% higher. Well, that's where prices are going. So we're going to be talking a lot more about paving, a lot more about expansion. Personally, I wouldn't be opposed to the city, as I said before, really front-loading some of this stuff before the price gets out of hand. Councilor Spaulding?
I have a question because Boynton Street is not near Perrin. So how is that? Does it make more sense to put Boynton when you do Air Street?
Yeah, that was, we were looking at options just to get us sort of a mix, sort of a menu of choices to get us somewhere to the 700. So we couldn't really do all 4 of these. If we, you know, we were looking at a couple of streets that need it. There's lots to choose from, and that roughly got us to the dollar figure. It was sort of a targeted approach. But you're right.
Because you're talking about trying to do it in neighborhoods
Yeah,
and clusters,
yeah.
it would make more sense. Trust
To
me,
wait,
I would
yeah.
love to have you do Boynton Street.
Yeah.
It's a mess, but
And Air Street is our high school, and West Patterson no longer exists. Why not get rid of Perrin Street, with all due respect to people who live there, and do Air and Boynton together and forget Perrin? Air Street is the one street where a high school on. There's no other place to go. That road, you have to take it. It's bad.
we need the money to do it.
No, you take away Perrin.
It's the other project.
It's the water project.
It's the water project that
That's the
makes
big
it
money.
problematic.
That's the big money.
And hey, straight up, if we could bid that and get that water project done and get Air Street done this year, I wouldn't be opposed to that. But honestly, one of the biggest issues that we have is simple availability. I mean, you know, thankfully, we had 6 contractors here who bid. I mean, I could name off a list of 40 contractors who could have bid, and 34 didn't because they've already got more work than they can do. Yes?
I have just a couple of math questions here. We are looking at a paving budget of 800,000, which is what we've proposed for this.
Correct.
For the core budget, setting aside for the moment the question of additional. So we are also looking at a core paving budget of the 322 plus the 269. We're not at 8 yet?
But the voter approved allocation is paving, sidewalks, and capital improvement. So it is trifurcated, I guess.
Okay.
It goes into different buckets that funds also things that go in the capital improvement plan, the fleet stuff like the police cruisers, those types of things.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that clarification, which, brief follow-on question, someday we should also talk about like sidewalk planning as well. I would love to have that conversation in the future. Okay, so we're looking at the 269 plus the 322 to make up the core budget allocation. And then there's the secondary if, as the mayor's proposing, we borrowed against the COSI fund to sort of front-load the paving. We had the conversation previously of like what balance is in-house and what can be prepped for these projects. And I guess I just want to follow up and say they all sound good to me, they all look good to me. Where did this fall on that ratio for you?
So we would probably have to do, a lot of the drain work would have to be contracted out, right, Brian? I think that we were looking at some of that. The structures would end up being some of the contracted work that we might run out of time. If we did, as an example, the Boynton, Perrin Beach, Newtons of the world, we would have physically run out of time with our crews to do some of that drain work. Is that correct, Brian?
Right. That the 800,000 is probably about the limit that we have for our crews to prep. So anything above that, we were probably going to do a lot of contractor work, and we also need to coordinate with the paving contractor. They're not even aware of all the additional work that we could possibly ask them to do. And will they hold their price? I hope so. I'm not. They're in no obligation to hold that price for us. I hope they will, and if they don't, we can go to the second bidder, who was Blacktop, which we had 2 years ago and had a good relationship with them. So maybe we go to that, but I think it is a decision that probably should be made fairly quickly to get those contractors on board, and to see, get in negotiations with them at least.
Brief follow-up question?
Of course.
It does sound to me like if we continue to increase the paving budget in next year's budget, which I would be in favor of, we should probably be planning an increase in public works staff so that we can continue to maximize the efficiency of that preparation that we've discussed.
Yeah, that would be great, but the only problem, we have 3 vacancies right now, and we're barely getting any applicants. So I would love to put on an extra, 2, 3 people, but it's finding the people to do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's tough right now.
I think, for me and Brian, it would be helpful if the council likes the idea of South Main Street, if the council likes the idea of Prospect Street. I think what we would do is we would go back to SD Ireland, who was our low bidder, and offer them this work. This wasn't in our paving bid, so this would be, they would have rights to it. We would offer it to them first, and right, that would make sense to the lowest bidder. That's how we'd want to do it. So, the stuff below the line, we can perfect. We can come back to, we can get the right mix of projects. But I think the South Main Street to Prospect Street, that's in the voter-approved allocation. That has resources available. If the council is comfortable with that, we can take that and go to SD Ireland and see if they'll be willing to do that work.
And lock in a price.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I'm very comfortable with that.
Okay.
Look, I'm comfortable with anything that paves roads, okay? No, I mean, and even the manager and I had a brief conversation. I said, the plant's open at a certain time. I mean, we can make hot mix here in the city. It's not, and, I even asked the manager, I said, I wonder if we could call some local paving companies, maybe they'd want to bring their guys back a week or 2 early, and we could contract with them for a week or 2 to just fill potholes. South Main Street is dangerous. I mean, for those of us who travel South Main Street a lot, I know you do, Counselor, you get down by Air Street and 2 lanes form. And those of us going up Hill Street are used to going on the right, and the other people go on the left. Well, now the little line is gone. That's long worn away. But what's happening now is folks, as you're starting to, form 2 lanes, folks are trying to miss the potholes in the left-hand lane and all of a sudden veering into the right-hand lane, and, someone's going to get hurt.
This with motorcycles coming out.
Yeah.
It's going to be.
I wouldn't drive down South Main Street on a bike.
No, I think if you can drive from Montpelier to Barre on a motorcycle, you get a free license.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm in favor of anything that paves roads.
Perfect. We will talk to the contractor then.
Can I ask
yes,
just a follow-up question? So, New York City's been doing this amazing, 100,000 potholes filled. Have you seen their, social media?
Yeah.
So the mayor went out and filled the 100,000 pothole, but.
I know, what an insult to the guys who did most of the work.
I know, but the part that was interesting to me, and maybe the Public Works Director, they were at the end, they poured this thing around the edge, and I asked my husband what it was, and he's like, oh, that's like a binder. And I'm like, do we do that? And I don't even, it's just the process of doing it looks different than what we do. So would it last longer if we did that? I'm just curious.
That is a good comment, because TJ and I have had this conversation, and I think that is a product that we are going to push. Historically, they have not been using it, but we actually are looking at a new hot box that has the emulsion spray on it. And that's just what your husband said. It's a binder. They use it in paving projects. Anytime you're paving, you have new asphalt going to old asphalt. It is be more expensive, but if it holds, I think it is.
Exactly.
Really what we fight with potholes is moisture. Is, with just a little bit of snow, everything gets wet and you can't patch potholes when stuff is wet. So that's the biggest item that we fight, but that emulsion is something that TJ and I have talked about and would really like to try to enact to hopefully maybe make the patches a little more permanent.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks for your question.
Yeah.
Any other questions, council? Thank you. Okay, we will move on to item 8E on the agenda. This is to approve the May 12th, 26 annual town meeting. So let's see, you all had this in your packet, correct? And I understand some of you want to have discussion about Article 3. Is that correct, Counselor?
Yes, sir.
You were just talking about it.
Oh, yes.
Of course you can come up. Yeah, because my first question is, we get to Article 1, will be how many people have laid eyes on this and checked the math?
At least 4 or 5.
Okay, fine.
And which number?
I still remember, I still have.
I see, it's because of the, nope, I'm catching up.
Yeah, so I assume, council, in terms of the warning, probably not a whole lot of discussion on Article 1. This is simply setting the amount of what our budget is and what is going to be raised by taxes. Obviously, I think we're all in favor of Article 2, which is the $800,000 for the street reconstruction and sidewalk improvements. I believe everyone is okay with Article 4, which talks about the voters authorizing payment of property tax installments, water and sewer invoices, and accounts receivable by delivery to the city clerk's office or in the drop box at City Hall by direct debit or through the online payment portal of the Barre City webpage, so they are received by 4:30 p.m. on the due date without regard to any postmark. So essentially, that means we are doing away with the postmark.
And that clears up my error.
Yep.
From thinking that council had the authority to make that change. But according to 32 VSA 4773, no, it has to go to the voters. So and other communities have done this, so I worked together with a few different communities to draft language and then ran it by our city attorney, and this is the final version of that article, mea culpa.
So I believe the discussion you wanted to have, Counselor, while I won't steal it from you, go ahead and have your discussion.
So I've had several people approach me about that. We used to list them individually and, people could pick and choose who they wanted to fund. Quite a few people have come to me and said they'd like to see that switched back to that method. Because they say, as they're looking at the group, there's some that they always supported in the past. And now, because there's some they don't want to support, they're voting no. So people that they used to vote for are losing out. I don't know if it was a cost thing when we switched it over.
That was one of the reasons, but the council did adopt a policy, and that policy is posted and is sent out to all the organizations when they file their paperwork requesting to be placed on the list. So personally, I don't think it's something you could change this year. I think you could revisit the policy anytime after May and change things for future. But I think you have to live by the policy that's in place this year.
I mean, it's policy, not ordinance.
True.
No, and we have, I just want to be clear to the council that if would it be legal if council wanted to break them down? I mean, I recall, I think I was mayor at the time when we put them all into one ballot item, was I?
No, I think it was Mayor Hemrick.
Yes.
22.
Oh, figures.
It was not that long ago.
No, I agree with Jeff.
I mean,
So,
if you look
yeah,
at
I
if
don't-
you look at the
I
policy.
mean, because it
online,
wouldn't affect how, it would not affect, obviously, it wouldn't affect anyone who has sought, wouldn't affect anyone on the list, including Vermont Center for Independent Living. Council already approved them. So those who were, if it would bump someone, for example, from the list, I tend to agree with you that, we shouldn't be doing that. That isn't fair. But if I understand your request, it's more about giving the voters additional choices, voters who may say, well, I mean, I think these are all fine organizations, but there may be some voters who say, I don't care to support certain organizations. I get it, yes.
I've also had this feedback from constituents. Follow-up, though, if we wanted to do this today, wouldn't that be a substantive change to this warning? I mean, to me, breaking each of these requests into multiple articles.
Cheryl's got 6 versions of the warning in front of her because we had ones with the Center for Independent Living and without the center, and in the group and without the group. We had it with this language about the postmarks and without the, so she's got her bases covered.
Okay,
I
thank
mean,
you.
and I guess I would
Wanted to make
argue
sure.
if, as long as everyone who has been approved to be on the ballot is on the ballot, I don't know that one could really make the argument that, well, it's a substantial change because, well, you're still there. You just get your own billing, so to speak.
That version she doesn't have.
I do not have that.
I get it, but yeah, I mean, again, I'm trying to think of a good reason to, when you talk about giving voters choice, well, I'm all about it. And yeah, we're giving them more choices, but what would it do to the ballots though, Cheryl and Kara? What would it do to the cost?
It would make it more expensive to print the ballots, more expensive to program the tabulator cards. It probably would add $500 to $1,000.
Okay, so it's not the end of the world.
And there isn't a lot of, the only other thing is, I know that there's been conversations around putting the school budget revote.
That is, yes, I
article
sent the
on the
warning
ballot,
today.
but that's just one yes,
one
no
article.
question.
Right.
So there's room on the ballot.
So we'd have a longer ballot. And again, I'm trying to be reasonable and accommodate people who may not want to lump all of the organizations together. Personally, when I go to the ballot box, I will likely support all of these organizations. But I do remember when we used to vote, you got a little writer's cramp there towards the end. But, yeah, I could go either way on this. I don't have, because as long as we're not limiting choices, then, like I said, I could go either way. And to accommodate folks who say, well, I simply want the ability to choose to say yes to one organization, but perhaps say no to another organization that I may not want my tax dollars supporting. Okay, I'm giving them additional choice. Councilor Spaulding.
Well, my question, I guess I'm pretty much a stickler for policy and rules, so I would agree with Carol that if we wanted to have this discussion, I understand that there are constituents talking about it to you, but I also think that in fairness to the rest of the people who like having to just fill in one circle versus 20, we should be cognizant of that, and we have a policy in place. So that would be my perspective of it.
Yeah, what does the policy even say?
The policy says that, the organizations that have received voter-approved funding in the past, that are able to get on the ballot with just the application and supporting materials, would then all be lumped into one article on the ballot.
For what purpose? I don't know.
I mean, the purpose was to get us for cost savings and to make room on the ballot for other things. If we're doing charter changes, as an example, we can't have all the articles individually listed and have room for charter changes.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, if we were limiting choice, I'd be very against it. Yes.
The other issue that I have with changing the policy at this point is that we did tell, that this has been how we've told the organizations it will be handled, and switching it out at this point, I'm not entirely comfortable with that. I mean, if we want to change it, let's talk about changing it for next year rather than this year, and publicize the fact that it's going to be this kind of popularity contest thing, that rather than simply everybody getting, who gets onto the ballot is going to be funded or not funded, depending on how voters vote.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I'd call it a popularity contest.
Well,
yeah. I mean, like I said, I know how I'm going to vote. I support all of them.
I'll support them too, and I'd prefer to fill in one than 20 little, make it the whole dot black.
So the appropriate motion would likely be to change the policy, which is just a policy. That was not on the agenda, so we'd have to ratify that next week.
Which would be too late for the warning, so.
Right, this is
If you were
crux
going
of
to
it.
tie your actions to the policy, so.
Yeah.
But
Yes, Counselor.
I just find that when we have individuals that are trying to come out and vote, and they're saying to us that they would like for us to split things up, well, we haven't, most of us have not heard the comments that we like them lumped. We've heard through the years, at this point for me, every year that I've been on council, that they'd like them separated. I understand that there is a policy in place, but also we have that authority to make that decision. I definitely would be one to make that decision and not lump them all together to value the voice of my constituents.
Yeah, we're just going to grab up here.
Absolutely.
Connie, did you have a comment or a question?
Yes, I remember when this all happened, and the reason we did it was to save room, save money, and they always all passed anyways. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Amy Galford?
Yeah, the first election I think I voted in here was when the Montpelier Senior Center did not pass. So I know that's been the last 10 years that they didn't pass because we had separate items and people voted for Barre, but not for Montpelier. And I think some of the organizations are countywide, and I don't even know what support they get from other institutions, kind of like the Green Mountain Transit conversation we had before. But I think people might vote against things because they want to focus on the Barre ones. I'm curious for the policy for when new organizations are added, they petition and get added. Does anyone ever leave the list once they get one positive vote? Or are they on forever?
they're on as long as they submit a request along with supporting documents that we require and an application every year. So they do have to request to be on the list at level funding. If they want to change in funding or they're new, they have to petition and they would go on the ballot as an individual line. Like last year we had with the Granite Museum and the mentoring.
Sure. Tess, did you have a question?
Yeah, just historically, the losers were in the individual voting, the Friends of the Winooski. And we see how amazingly important they have been to us. Dan Rubel, Wilson, all the other work they've done. It simply was that people didn't know who they were. It was a fun game, and so they just didn't vote for it. So.
And they're not on the list. So I think they gave up. No, like I said, I can see both sides, but if you were eliminating some, I'd feel very differently if you were eliminating someone from the list or not giving voters a choice. But what we're actually contemplating is giving the voters more choice. Yes.
I guess I don't feel like wildly strongly about this. I've received some of the same constituent complaints about setting it back to individual ones, but I think that some of what we're hearing as complaints is because of the way it is, and I bet we would all get complaints about going back to the full list as soon as we switched it. So I do respect and listen to the voices of my constituents. I think that they're coming because of the way it is right now, and we wouldn't necessarily get the who among us gets the automatic, like, I think this is great, spontaneous comment? So we have a little bit of selection bias in what we're hearing to some degree. And I guess I would be in favor of, if we are going to consider this, and I'm wholly in favor of considering it going forward, if we actually were to revisit the policy in a public forum, then we could actually get a variety of perspective on keep it, don't keep it. And if it came down in favor of splitting it out of that, absolutely. But right now, I guess we're responding to complaints about the way it is, and I guarantee we'll get complaints when we change it. So I would be in favor of having an opportunity for a full airing of the conversation rather than changing it right now. But again, I don't know that I land too strongly.
Amy Galford?
Were there ever any complaints before they were merged? Or was it simply for budgetary reasons that they were merged to save money on the ballot?
Anecdotally, I remember people coming up to me at the polls and, going, I can't believe how many ovals we have to fill in. And, but I mean, it was just more of a comment. It didn't feel like it was a commentary on a change that needed to be made.
Mm-hmm. And they comment about a lot of things. So, what's your pleasure, council?
I'd like to change it.
I agree, and I agree also with a public forum type of, let's see what the people, I think people overwhelmingly are gonna say, yeah, let's separate it out, so see where it's going.
Let's do it.
But then that, after we have them, decide.
So I guess where I'm ultimately coming down, even though I'm not the biggest process guy, but there is a policy which I do want on the agenda to ditch at our next council meeting.
Well, not ditch it, because it's wrapped up in the whole funding.
Amend.
So we'll amend that policy, but we do have a policy that says you do it this way. I'm all about asking people, how do you feel about this? I mean, I know how I feel about it. If I felt comfortable going, and there are times when I'm fine going against the policy, because policies are simply guidelines. They are not ordinance, they are not statute, they're guidelines. And this isn't quite one of those times. I'd be fine with getting rid of it next year, and I would probably support giving people the choice, yes or no, after having a public forum and getting rid of the policy first, have a public forum, and then do it. I think I'd be very comfortable. Not only comfortable, I'd support it, because it gives people more choice.
Well, that's just.
And I get it. The only complaint, I got the same complaint. The only, you can get writer's cramp after. Yeah.
I am a process person, and I understand that policies are guidelines and not law, but I also think that we establish expectations with the policy. So I would be in favor of considering a change in this for next year, not for this year.
Yeah. Well, the policy is going away next meeting, that part of the policy.
That's okay, but that's too late for
That doesn't
this.
mean you
Yes.
have to. It's just.
Yep.
Strike that reference in the policy, and then we don't have to worry about it anymore.
I would hope that the body would review the entire policy and make any changes that might be appropriate.
Invite public comment.
Because it hasn't been reviewed in a few years, and it's the policy that we use for organizations seeking to be placed on the ballot, so.
Right.
It'd be nice.
It's not a long policy.
It'd be nice too to see, more people come out and vote. We have, 6,000 registered voters? And last town meeting, 800 people voted?
Well, according to the list.
Right, according to the list, we have 6,000. If we really got down to it, what do you think, Carol?
48.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're probably closer to 5,000
Yeah.
who are, really.
That's still more than the 800 that showed.
And no, and again, a good thing, just because, all right, a dead person isn't going to show up to vote. But you shouldn't be striking people from, voting is pretty special. You shouldn't be, there should be a long process to strike someone from a voter's list. That's absolutely appropriate. But when you think about, and again, when we get 1,000 voters out of 5,000, still not real impressive.
No.
So I'd be okay, yeah.
We have one last
Oh, I'm sorry, Amy?
Is it possible to do a non-binding vote? Like either on the ballot or, I don't know, a separate piece of paper, something to ask the people who actually bother to come vote, which they would prefer?
You can't do a non-binding A or
I
B.
guess what I'm thinking of is like at some town meetings where they have where they actually do a town meeting with floor resolutions and that kind of thing. Like, I think isn't there something where you can just kind of do like, I guess, I don't know what the right word is for it. It's more like a straw poll kind of thing or an information poll. Or literally like, I don't know, you have two jars in the hallway and people put the pebble in the jar, whatever, like the Romans used to do. Like by non-binding, I mean like an opportunity for the people who actually bother to vote to tell us instead of a small group of people telling you guys, you're hearing from a very small number of people, but for the people who actually bothered to vote, like, what do they want? Would they rather it be split or not?
Yeah, yes.
I love that idea, thank you. And I suggest the process way for this would be that the BCA could approve some kind of poster or sign or something outside the polls with a simple, like, self-serve mechanism where people can just give us their feedback on that.
Yeah. Or we could, if it's something we're inclined to change, we could put it in the budget poll.
Sure.
I mean, that would be,
That would
and hopefully,
wait
I
till-
mean, I don't know, I don't know that this should be of course, Berry City never ceases to surprise me. So, even though I don't think it would be a real controversial sort of issue, who knows? We might push the budget survey participation up to like 3,000.
Why not both places?
So, I think we put it in the budget poll and let people know you can weigh in there. That'll give the council the kind of the direction they need.
Yeah.
And it might drive people to the budget poll.
And I do like the idea, though, as Amy suggested, of getting feedback from folks who are there voting on what they want to do. So I'll pitch that to the BCA when we get to that meeting.
If I may, the only other part of that, though, is the people who are voting by absentee ballot. So giving another opportunity because they're not walking in the door.
Absolutely
So-
multiple,
Yeah.
yes, multiple access points.
I mean, we've got time. Everyone good with that? So council, we've reviewed Article 1. Obviously, we'll be electing a mayor, we'll be electing a clerk, we will be electing one counselor from each ward. We all know that. Date is May 12th, 2026, from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., at which time the polls close. You're authorizing, which one is it now?
15795.
Yeah,
Because
okay.
that's with the 3,000.
Yeah, because we added the three. Okay, so Article 1 would be, shall the Berry City voters authorize a general fund budget of $15,795,770, of which an amount not to exceed $11,300,881. That wouldn't give us much money. Is to be raised by local property taxes for the fiscal year July 1, 26 through June 30th, 27. Article 2 is shall the Berry City voters authorize a sum of $800,000 for the street reconstruction and sidewalk improvements and the capital improvement fund. Article 3 is shall the Berry City voters authorize a sum of $131,200 to be allocated to the following social service agencies and organizations as indicated. You all see the list there, and they will be joined, as it's highlighted here, by Vermont Center for Independent Living. Article 4 is shall the voters authorize payment of property tax installments, water and sewer invoices, and accounts receivable by delivery to the city clerk's office or in the drop box at City Hall by direct debit or through the online payment portal on the Berry City website, so they are received by 4:30 p.m. on the due date without regard to any postmark. Once it says by 4:30, we can't change that, can we? Like if we ever said, okay, look, we really want to try hard, and we understand some people get out of work at 5 o'clock. On those due dates, especially the tax due dates, could we keep City Hall open until 5:30? Would you advise that, or would you not advise that? I understand we've got, people have lives, but that way, someone who gets out of work at 5 o'clock and says, I couldn't get there, we're just really trying to do our best to accommodate them.
I think you certainly could, but I think keeping things consistent, people know City Hall closes at 4:30. And so I
Okay.
think keeping it consistent with that makes the most sense.
Okay, just asking the question. I'm fine with that. And then there will be no Article 5 because it's included in Article 3. So, council, you've heard Articles 1 through 4.
So, Mr. Mayor, just to clarify.
Yeah.
The Center for Independent Living is going to be included in the list. It won't have it separate, okay. And so that obviously changes the total amount on the article.
He had read,
He did.
read the
131.
31, yeah.
The 131.
We went from 128.2 to 131.2.
Yeah.
Yep. So we did that. Motion would be in order.
so moved. Second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion as presented, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And those opposed, we are warned.
All right, let's
Ooh.
Council will move to item 8F on the agenda. This is the flood resiliency plan. Council Guston.
First of all, I'm a little bummed we didn't put an article recognizing my birthday, but that probably would have been prejudicial in the election. It is that day.
We could, but what if it fails? Does that mean you never get a birthday again?
I didn't think about that.
That would work.
I know.
My whole life is a flow chart. Does it go well? Does it not go well?
I think you're arguing for me.
I can stop the aging process, yeah.
All right. Flood resiliency plan. This is more of just a brief discussion, update than anything else. One section of the flood resiliency plan, and I apologize, I did not prep the exact section. But what it calls for is for us to consider the impact beyond our boundaries of water that comes from beyond our boundaries and impacts the city of Barre. We all know that we are a river basin here in Barre and that water comes both from upriver and from upslope here into Barre City. And a section of the flood plan calls for us to sort of review and consider all opportunities for partnership, for exploration with other municipalities and with other sort of activities that can help to mitigate that. So I wanted to just give a brief verbal update to council of some activities in that line that are currently happening. One is the River Navigator project that was funded through a first round CDBG-DR grant, primarily to the Central Vermont Regional Planning Commission. They're heading that up, but they're also partnering with Friends of the Winooski and with a couple of different municipalities on a variety of flood mapping. It will both create new mapping, much like we did in Barre City, and we have reviewed here previously at council for other municipalities, and it will also crucially tie all of the existing maps together. So all of that really cool 3D modeling that we looked at and talked about with SLR Consulting a few weeks ago, they're working on doing that for all of Washington County, so that they can stitch it all together and that we can then input into our model and connect them with others and really see the effect of a rain event or flooding or something like that quite a ways away and quite a ways out. And that's really going to help us in Barre City, and it's going to help folks who are downriver from us and so on. That also further sort of provides, although they weren't fully awarded, so they're figuring out exactly how to allocate the money for this, but it does provide some money for commercial building assessments in flood-prone downtowns to review and make recommendations for large commercial buildings about what steps they can take to flood-proof. We know here in Barre City, we've had some buildings that fared very well and had flood improvements that worked. So this is a way to look at buildings that were hit harder and make recommendations based on what we know work, and also to develop recommendations going forward. And one last piece of that is a sort of collaboration that had met a few times previously, the Winooski River, Winooski River Resiliency Collaborative?
Yes, yeah.
God. I don't know why that one won't stick, but Winooski River Resiliency Collaborative, which is technically the length of the Winooski River. So folks all the way up to Burlington were attending these really fairly large meetings and conversations, and it's going to lead to sort of moving that forward and helping to fund that and making that a more regular gathering. It had previously been organized by Montpelier, which has a full-time paid person working on their flood resiliency stuff, and John Copans through what they are now calling Montpelier Strong. They've just merged it with the Montpelier Foundation. So I do expect those meetings. I think I've almost talked my way onto the steering committee. I'm like, just a little short, but I'll get there. One second. I think you can expect to see invitations to those meetings coming up in the next month or two, and I'll make sure those get shared to council.
So behind Ruth here Auto Center,
Mm-hmm.
they're coming down on the other side and they're clearing trees. And there was a waterfall there. Do you know what's going on there?
Yeah, actually,
I was kind of amazed with it. I was pretty happy to see
That's wicked cool work, actually. That is work that is being done through what is now our Barre River Collective. It was previously our Barre River Access Task Force in partnership with the Friends of the Winooski River. And I believe the Vermont River Conservancy folks are in on this as well. Am I getting that right? Tess has been involved in it a little bit. And they have been doing terrific work across the entire city, evaluating opportunities for river access, which is what that site is going to be, right? Because there's these gorgeous waterfalls and there's that really cool trail.
There's a nice piece of flat land there.
Yep.
That waterfall is gorgeous. And
Yeah.
they clear out some of the trees.
Yep, they're making trail improvements and clearance improvements, and there's actually going to be a fair bit more trail work. There was just some really cool conceptual drawings shared. Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
Great.
Yeah, they made a nice road that came.
Mm-hmm.
It was just.
It's gonna be
go back
even
there and
nicer.
See that going on, like, wow.
Yeah, that's a project that's been in the works for a fair while. So I think that project is a good example of what we hope to be the end state of other projects like Scampini Square, like the sort of Air Auto site that's going to be lowered by the river there, the Desero, I'm sorry? The high school, behind the high school, they're also working on a site there and by Desero. So that's sort of your closest to completion out of those projects, but they're looking at all of those sites through the city, and we can expect to see those move forward in the coming, I would say, years at this point, but the idea part of it is pretty well along.
Right.
So expect to see the possibility of going to the Winooski River collaborative meetings in the future. Those I personally found really interesting and valuable, just to go meet folks from other communities, brag on Barre a little bit, get our other ideas. Those have been fantastic. And I also meet pretty regularly and informally with counterparts in Waterbury and Montpelier to sort of just what grants are up, what ideas are we coming up, constantly sending the city manager like, I just got out of it and this was a cool one, we should pitch for this. And in that capacity, I'm going to be attending, Waterbury has an every 2-week flood resiliency roundtable just informally among folks in their town, so I'm going to be attending that tomorrow afternoon. And I keep putting a bug in everyone who will listen's ear about the idea of municipalities buying land outside their borders in order to develop them as floodplain, so that we can have direct effect and impact on our upstream challenges. And there are some interesting sort of financial vehicles for that to happen that I've had folks brainstorming on. So those are just some, like I said, quick verbal updates on some of that broader collaboration that's happening. Thank you for playing me off. Outro.
Is that Doc Severinsen down there?
It's like the Oscars.
Stuff that pops up.
No, you were fine. Any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, council, we'll move on to item 9, upcoming business. Well, we've got a vote coming up, so there's that. Anything particular, the council? I know it's been all budget, all warnings, all paving, all the time for the past couple of months, but is there anything the council would like to have on the agenda? Now that warmer weather is upon us, I'd really like to take our little show on the road, even if and maybe in some of the off weeks, we can, Nicholas doesn't have to go to every meeting. We can drive the car without scratching it. So I thought what we could do is schedule some meetings, in Ward 1, Ward 2, Ward 3. I really want to get down the north end and just let folks know that, we're leaving no stone unturned. We just have not been, and I think we're submitting it applications. We just haven't been successful, but we're certainly not even close to quitting on them. You know, we still got a lot of fight left in us, so, but if there's anything else that anyone would like to see, yes.
Just as a note, I had a really good meeting with the Neighborly Barre folks yesterday, and council, we should expect to be able to share our launch of the Adopt a Drain programs at upcoming council meeting very soon, the next 2-3 weeks. So.
Super. Thank you. Okay, roundtable. Councilor Ruthier, want to start us out?
I'll pass. I have nothing.
Councilor Spalding?
Yeah, speaking of the Barre City River access group, I think, what are they called now? The
Barre Rivers Collective.
They have a trivia night next Tuesday, April 14th from 6 to 8 at the Barre Social Club. I would recommend you look them up on maybe social media. And they also are doing a community survey, and I would encourage you to fill that out as well, because they're trying to hear directly from the community about how we see river access and what their top sites of interest are. So I just would like to little plug for that.
Thank you. Councilor Bergeron. Councilor Guston.
Oh, I wasn't expecting to come that fast. Pass.
Councilor Hildgartner.
I just have a brief update from the Neighborly Barre Committee. I was going to also mention the Adopt a Storm Drain project, which Neighborly Barre is going to get involved with. Also, we've had some conversations with the Career Center, which is beginning its a brand new community service program with their students. And I think this is going to be a source of very valuable cooperation for the Neighborly Barre Committee and for projects going forward.
Councilor Deering.
What an amazing event that both the town and the city put on at the BOR for the Easter egg hunt on Saturday. Great collaboration by both groups. Very proud of all the work that's going on with the Parks and Rec group. So it was just really great to see lots of smiling faces, lots of people that were able to just have some time to be stress-free and just let loose. Lots of activities other than just gathering eggs. So it was really well thought out, really well put on, and just really proud that we were able to host that as well. So it was just really great.
Nice. So we had our kickoff meeting, was it 2 weeks ago? Last week? Wait, 2 weeks ago. So we're meeting regularly. I mean, the Prospect Heights project, the funding model is incredibly complex. You know, there's intertwined federal rules, state rules. We've got a number of different players, both at the city and at ACCD and, you know, through the regional commission. So I had reached out to the administration and I said, look, this stuff seems to move around. You know, we really need a coordination meeting. And so we had our first coordination meeting. We're going to be meeting every 2 weeks. We had our first 2 weeks ago, and it went really well. It was everything that I hoped it would be. And basically all that is getting everyone, all of the funders, all of the stakeholders, getting everyone together in a room. So if there are any issues, we're heading them off sooner rather than later. And so that everyone is sort of, as we check in, everyone's hearing the same thing. So, you know, so if we haven't submitted a certain report, great, we'll get it in and we'll do that. Or if we need an appraisal, no problem, we'll get it in. And what do you think? I think that's going to work really well. And then secondly, a bit of shameless self-promotion. I don't know if any of you have ever noticed 75 North Main Street. You probably hadn't before now. It's where, well, John Ormsby was one of my favorite men in the whole world, and it's where Ormsby's TV and appliance served this community for decades and decades and decades. And so we bought the building, Karen and I, with Trim and Lauren Schweenard, and Karen, true to Karen, she's got this vision, and she wanted it to look like it looked in 1890, when it was the original town hall. So there are going to be 6 apartments upstairs, 2 apartments on the first floor in the rear, commercial space in the front. But what excites me most is the way she can think about what the building should look like, what it looked like in 1890, and the way Trim can build it. And I got to tell you, I'm proud of it. It looks stunning. And if you look at a picture of that building in 1890 and look at all of the window detail, it matches perfectly. So I'm just want to say I'm just proud of Trim, proud of Karen, proud of their team. It's going to be a great addition to downtown. So with that, council, now that I've got that over with, you don't need an executive session, so a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
In a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
What?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank you.
We're all just trying to get that.